Keels over.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Oh, my chair's not up all the way. Oops, now I look smaller than I usually am. Guys, I'm 6 feet tall. Trust me. So welcome back to the Greenly Review. Today we are going to be reviewing Shin Godzilla, the 2016 movie that everyone in Japan loves. Today I am joined with Ft.BigBoiBouie yet again. He knows more about this stuff than I do in terms of Shin Godzilla. How you doing, big boy?
I'm doing pretty good today. How are you doing, Grant?
You know what? I'm doing fine. I got myself an Oculus Rift today. I'm going to be doing VR games on stream, and I'm going to get scared. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, so first
Expect me
things...
to watch.
What was that?
Expect me to tune in.
Okay. Bro, FNAF is going to be absolutely insane on VR. Anyways. So, in a broad... I wouldn't say broad sense. In a sense, you can go as deep as you want. Tell me what you thought about this film in terms of other films that Toho has made, and what America has made in terms of Godzilla.
It is the perfect description of what Godzilla is.
Yes, very much so.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
Absolutely perfect. There are some issues this movie had, and which could have been fixed even with the same budget, which is kind of frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the character of Godzilla and bearing the name Godzilla, it was perfect.
Mm-hmm. I think. Oh, sorry.
No,
This is gonna be a problem. We're gonna keep cutting in and out. I feel like this Godzilla, and I think you were gonna say this. And if I'm stealing your thunder, I really do apologize. This Godzilla is the actual incarnation of what Godzilla is meant to be. I understand the legendary version is like the whole white knight noble kind of thing, but in reality, this is basically what Godzilla is meant to look like. This is how he's supposed to be perceived.
Well, in terms of like comparing it to the legendary is basically this big lizard with a superiority complex.
Very much so, yes.
As Shin Godzilla is a confused animal that isn't understanding what's happening. Like, he's going through these insane changes so quickly, and it's probably super painful to him.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't help but feel bad for everybody in this movie. It's just a big tragedy.
Exactly. Right. I mean, and we discussed this before the stream started. I mean, in terms of character development for the humans itself, it really wasn't there. And that was one of the biggest downfalls of this movie. Now, granted, they did win a lot of awards, and we'll get into that later. But I think the reason that that's the case is because they wanted to showcase Shin off more than they did anything else. They wanted to show what Godzilla was truly meant to be, like it was back in 1954.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but still at the same time, I felt like putting the human characters in a situation where they are in danger. That's the issue with this movie, is that there's never a point where you're really worried about the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of in a safe office room for like literally half the movie. Or half the movie, they're in the office room discussing what Godzilla is, and it's kind of... it gets
Lackluster,
yeah,
so to speak.
exactly.
Yeah, very much so. And I feel like if they would have given the humans, or at least one, like, and the only one I can think of is I think it was the female. She was the American person who came in to discuss with the Japanese government how to beat this thing, right? Give intel to them on that. Like, the only thing that I could pinpoint in that movie in terms of like character development was her wanting to be the president one day, and that was about it.
Yeah, and it still fell short.
Yeah, very much so. And it could have been absolutely amazing if they would have executed on that more. But since, if it was made in like 2021, so to speak, people would be like, "Oh, we don't care about the human story. This was perfect." But back then it was different. It was a different time, different era.
Yeah, of course. Well, the only like moving line that I remember in the movie, and it was about Godzilla, was that one girl in the car
Mm-hmm.
that like, what did she say? She's like, Godzilla is truly a god incarnate.
Oh,
And that
yeah,
really
yeah.
makes you, yeah, that really makes you think about like what's going on here, and it really describes the fear. And this movie is so good at like capitalizing the fear and the overall hopelessness of the situation.
Exactly. Very much so. And I keep stating this. It's like, although I didn't like this movie as a whole in terms of other movies, like there were a lot of other ones. In terms of design, I love this.
Yeah,
It's perfect. It literally screams, "This is what Godzilla would look like IRL." You know, with all the how it said with the Fukushima and the Fukushima disaster and the 1994 disaster are similar. It was to pay homage to that movie and whatnot. It's really nice. It's really good.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about the beginning of the movie when we first see I guess Shin Godzilla in his like I guess first form, so to speak.
Was are you talking about when his tail was in the water?
Yeah, his tail is in the water. Do you think they should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like
yeah.
actually shown what his that form looked like? Do you have
Now you can change your stream to.
I just got my Oculus Rift. Sorry. I'll put this back. Thank you.
You should just open it up. Be like,
All right, keep going. Keep going. I'm sorry, my brother interrupted. I'm very sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. I think it was done well. I don't think it was super important to show it. I think what they did was done pretty well with kind of like, holy crap, that's a big animal, and that's all they really had to show. Like,
Right.
what is this thing? Like, holy guacamole! Like,
The blood in the water was kind of creepy, so to speak. It's like, oh my god, that thing's excreting so much
oh,
blood.
oh, and I know I'm moving ahead, but the second form,
Oh my
oh,
god. The second form was creepy. The big ol' eyes like, don't look at me like that. I don't like you. Don't look at me like that.
you're looking like the spoon from Toy Story.
Exactly. And I mean, whenever it was crawling through the street, right? And you remember that shot, the cinematic shot where the cameraman was moving with Godzilla as he was like crawling through the streets and the blood would come out of the gills. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
this
oh,
whole movie was
ew.
really gross.
It was
But it was
super
like a
gross.
but the director of it, he directed a couple Gamera movies, eh?
Oh yeah, he
And
did. And Neon Genesis Evangelion, he wanted to bring that to life. We forgot to mention that. I don't know why I forgot to mention that.
he is so artistic. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, he did a really good job. Like some people don't thought it went like too far, like with
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla's artistic design and whatnot, like the mouth unhinging and whatnot later on.
Right.
And some people didn't like that. I personally thought it was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I personally agree with you. Like, I feel like I've said before, this is what Godzilla should have looked like. Like, if he were IRL, this is exactly what he'd look like. And I personally think that what he did, giving this like a demonic, like weird something you've never seen before, giving it that kind of feel to it, like striking terror into the hearts of humans, was perfect. It was well done.
Well, you got to remember this movie came out like 2 years after Godzilla 2014, and Legendary Godzilla looks like an actual animal. It looks like
Right.
something that evolved
Mhm.
and thrived. As Shin Godzilla looks like something that should not exist.
It's just it
It
came from hell itself, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
what
no,
is
it
this?
literally it looks like one of those memes saying "kill me," right?
Pretty much, yeah. I feel like inside of its head, it's like, I am in so much pain. Kill me now. That's pretty much what I think it's thinking to itself.
Yeah, it looks like something from Meat Canyon or something.
It's nasty. All right, so let's talk about. Okay, so if I remember correctly, I'm trying to remember how the movie went. So whenever he went into his second form, right, and he like got up on his hind legs, right, he looked around. The humans had already gone into the bunker, and they were going to shoot this thing down.
Are you talking about the third form?
Yeah, well, right before the third form, right before. I mean, like it's it the I'm trying to think of words English. The stages between the second and third form when he gets up and he's about to do like I guess evolve, but then like he overheats. I think I want to say that's the case, and then he runs back into the water and then comes back later on. Um.
Isn't that one considered the third form, and then the final one is fourth?
Oh yeah, no, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's my fault. That's on me.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
all good. It's all good.
that part whenever he does that and the army had the chance to kill the thing, they could have ended the movie there, but the civilians were in the way. I would think it was the grandma and someone pushing a what was it, a cart
Like
or something.
something like that, a stroller or a cart. I
Yeah,
don't quite remember. I watched the movie yesterday.
if they hadn't been there, that movie would have been over then and there. Just
You
saying.
know what's something I really noticed? Like the first time I watched this movie, I was with a bunch of friends, and
Mhm.
like we're watching this thing like slowly drag its body through the city,
Mhm.
and all these people are running from it, and like they're able to actually outrun this massive creature.
Right.
But then in that third form, when he he roars, which is it's kind of funny because it's the 1954 roar, which
Hmm.
I didn't think was quite fitting to its design, but
They used a lot of different roars, I believe. If I remember correctly, they used like 5 different ones from each movie that had happened in the past. Although, I don't know which ones exactly, so I'm gonna have to fact check that. But they used a lot.
when the third form looked back down and looked around and he bolted. Holy crap! Like I was so blown away by how fast that thing was able to move at that point.
He's thinking to himself, "Oh God, I know where I am." He turns around and runs. It's like,
He just came out of he just came out of his high. He's like, whoa!
he came out of his trance. He's like, "Oh my God!" And just kept running. Like, wait a minute, I'm gonna die here if I stay. And he just runs off, and then we don't see from. And then we have those.
Waking up in the wrong bed.
Where am I? Or like as a kid, whenever you were like asleep in the car and you wake up in your own bed, you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like that. Oh God, kind of moment.
One thing I really noticed with the character of both the second and well, not quite the first, the second, way more so, or not the second, the third.
Mhm.
He was like the way he was looking around. I really saw this in his character about he was kind of curious because obviously he's never been on land before and is
Right, yeah.
baffled by everything.
I believe.
And I thought that
Oh
was
yeah.
a nice little touch.
Yeah, it was a very nice. It was a very very nice touch because like it's like you said, a creature that had never been on land before. He's like, oh, these little looking things are kind of cool. I wonder what they. I wonder what they do. And then I feel like after the fact, he kind of just got bored of it and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cause destruction. I don't really care at this point. And then with the whole fourth form and then all that. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that soon. But I want to talk about the board meetings. I know those are boring in a sense, and it's basically like, I don't know, 2/4 of the movie is just in a boardroom.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting that, and I don't want to say that they don't do this in other Godzilla movies, but the fact that they brought people from different nations together to apprehend this creature because they didn't know what it was, I thought was a good touch to it because one country didn't know what to do, so they had to get the aid from other countries like, yo, what is this? And they're like, I don't know. How do we kill this thing? It's like, we don't know. We need help. It's like, awesome. Okay, let's do that. And oh, sorry. You go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Go right ahead.
I watched it subbed. I didn't watch it dubbed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So another fun little thing, when they are the American characters, they actually still speak in English, eh?
Yeah, and the what is it in the car? I believe that one of them speaks English, or was it I think yeah that one.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, that one. And I thought that was a good touch to it. I thought it was. They brought two different things into it. And then the oh, I shouldn't get into the freezing agent just yet. That's later on.
That's later on.
That's later on. And I noticed in the cinematography that the wait, who is the guy? It was Shin something. Oh, Shin Higuchi, right? That was the person who directed the thing. I feel like Shin Godzilla kind of reminded me of Evangelion a little bit. Now I haven't seen the actual anime itself, but I've seen clips of it, and it kind of low-key pays homage to it in terms of like how it feels, how the movie feels, and how it relates to said anime and whatnot. And I thought that was really, really interesting.
Right.
Let's see what else. I wrote down on one of my notes. It's like, in big letters, big ole eyes from the second tour. Big ole eyes. Okay.
Staring at me with them big eyes.
Whenever I actually first saw the movie, that's the first thing that came to my mind because I don't remember the first time I actually watched the movie. I was more mesmerized by it. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I wasn't really weirded out by it. It was just like, oh, this looks kind of cool. I remember watching it with my dad, and I think he enjoyed it. I don't really remember, but it was a fairly interesting movie. And I don't know. It's just now that I rewatch it, it was like, yeah, I finally understand because now that we talk about Godzilla and everything, you get more of an understanding of how this one works and why it is the way that it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always found it difficult to show my friends dubbed movies, and I'm not just gonna show them the subbed movies.
Right.
So So like Shin Godzilla was a weird one to watch with my friends, but my friends also like they like Godzilla too, so
Mm-hmm. I mean, my
they were
friends
down for it. So
like anime. Like that's mainly what they do. Like I don't know what's I feel like our friends are completely different in terms of how they like to like Godzilla. If I mention that to them, like what's that? And it's like what? My heart hurts. And then so I just freak.
my friends, they just kind of like movies, and yeah, my friends are a lot different. My one friend's a complete workaholic. My best friend's a complete workaholic, and then the other two are big gamers.
Oh yeah, gaming for life, baby. Let's do this. I feel like they should make a do you think they should make had an idea. Awesome. Remember how that video I made about the Mortal Kombat director making a yeah, so they should actually I feel like if they add Shin Godzilla, that would be a good fit for it. Cuz he's not in any other games. He's really not. Like actually I have the what's it called? The wiki thing up. I'll actually look to see how many games he's in because honestly, I have never seen him in an actual game before. Yeah, no, his appearances are no, I'm not seeing any. No, he hasn't. That's the thing.
Anything but his movie.
He hasn't, and it's like I feel like if they add that to the new game, if he decides to make it, that would be a good addition.
Wait, I think he was in an advertisement that I saw that wasn't for the movie. It was like something, some sort of snack or something.
Oh, was that Snickers? I believe
it was a Japanese.
Oh, I was about to say it's like
some sort of
Snickers Godzilla exists, but I didn't think it was Shin Godzilla.
No, it was a Japanese for like some sort of snack when like he eats it, or while he eats it, Shin Godzilla roars at him and he just kind of stands there and smiles. You know, just real Japanese stuff.
Right. Oh my goodness! I said I wouldn't die on stream, but okay.
Well, actually, you didn't promise it. So.
Oh yeah, it's true. I didn't promise that. Another thing that I found. Okay, going back, we went down a rabbit hole, but that is what it is. Going back to Shin's, was it third form? I'm not sure if the radioactive core had something to do with it, but that is Shin Godzilla's like main weakness. If he overheats the crap out of that thing, he will pay for it. And you saw that in his fourth form. Which let's get into the fourth form.
He ran.
Yeah, let's get into the fourth form. All right, so when he shows up in the big city of Japan, or no, Tokyo, Hong Kong, I forget.
Undersized. No, he showed up somewhere and then he walked into, like he was walking and then eventually ended up in Tokyo.
He straight instant teleportated his way into Tokyo. He's like, I'm here. I didn't make any sounds. I'm giant though. I'm like, what is it? Is Shin Godzilla like the third tallest Godzilla now? Or is he 400 feet tall? Is he 400 feet tall? Hold on. How tall is...
He's just shorter than the 2019 in Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla. And yeah, he's shorter than Monster Strike and Earth, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, he's 389 feet.
Yeah, which is just shy of Legendary's 393.
I feel like you said no, hold on. English, I'm trying to think of something. This one I feel this one came out after the 2014 movie. I wonder if they thought to themselves, is this a good idea to release, knowing full well that we released another Godzilla movie 2 years ago that actually did fairly good? Do you think they thought to themselves, like, hey, should we actually wait to do this, or should we just go ahead and do it? Because, I mean, in the long run, it still got awards and everything. But do you think that was a thought?
I personally believe it was history repeating itself. By no means am I comparing 2014 to 1998. But you got to remember, Godzilla was done before 1998. Like, the end of the Heisei era, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. That was supposed to be the last Godzilla movie. And the last Toho movie we saw before Shin Godzilla was all the way back in 2004.
Oh, right.
So I think they were trying to put it at a rest, but now that it got revived, they're like, okay, we're pumped, let's do it.
Because it got so much money. It's like, if you look at something and it makes that much money, you're like, you know what? This seems like a good idea.
And if you look at the difference between when Toho makes a like Toho, I mean, yeah, they've made their fun movies. Like
Mhm.
that's what Final Wars is. It's just it's a fun popcorn entertainment movie.
Right.
But nobody's ever capitalized on, like, no American movie has ever capitalized on what Godzilla is. Like there's none of that metaphor for
Right.
nuclear disaster as like 1954 did. I mean, 1984 did it a little bit, but Shin Godzilla did it the
The
best.
best. Yeah,
And
the best.
I think they were feeling that that original metaphor of that character kind of was lost, so they tried to bring him
Revamp
up in
it.
full, yeah, in full volume.
And it did fairly well. It did amazing with the budget of being, if we mentioned this before, 1.6 million, I think, and
Yeah,
it made what is it, 300 million or something like that. I don't know, something along those lines. But yeah, no, it was amazing, and I feel like I'm gonna ask you this: do you think that hold on, Higuchi, do you think he thought to himself, this film did so good? I know it was supposed to be meant to be a standalone film, but do you think to himself, we could execute off of this? We could make something, because I mean, it's not far fetched. I know that the 2014 movie came out, and that's like the American version. Do you think they could have done something with Shin Godzilla and made it like the Japanese version of Godzilla, so have two different versions and have their own timelines?
maybe.
That, but
The thing is, like they said, they only wanted to make one, right?
mm-hmm.
Maybe legendary, for all we know, they could at one point even make a legendary Shin Godzilla and
I
then
would
have it in the same universe
mm,
as their
crossover.
Godzilla. Yeah, it could be something like that.
Just comes
You
back from
never
the
know.
dead. He's like, nah, I ain't dead. I never died. I don't die. And then he just, does his own thing.
Yeah, it's some sort of like screwed up Titanus Gojira species. It could do that. I don't see Toho making another Shin Godzilla, as they said they haven't, and usually Toho kind of sticks to what they do.
Mm-hmm. I
Like
just
they're very, when they say they're going to do something, usually that's final.
right, very much so. I just feel like I wonder if they made their final decision before the movie ever came out, or if they made it afterwards. Because like, if they made it beforehand and it made that much money, they're like, you know what, we probably just screwed ourselves. But at the same time, they really didn't, because they had 2014 to look forward to, and they're like, you know what, we'll
Well,
we'll bank on this.
they still make money off of the legendary films too.
Yeah, very much so. Because Godzilla versus Kong is what the what I want to say was the second highest money making movie in the Godzilla series. I could be wrong. Don't quote that, because I don't know for
I
sure.
actually think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, who knew it would
And
be
during
that good?
COVID too.
Yeah,
During a pandemic as well. Like that's amazing.
the first movie to make that much money, as things were starting to reopen. At that, I just find that to be insane. Anyway, okay, let's talk about his fourth form, because I don't think we went on a tangent. We actually stayed on track. That's insane. We actually stayed on track.
Yeah.
All right, so his fourth form. Yeah. So when he showed up, first things first, those thighs, I
Massive.
massive, bigger than Kim Kardashian. Okay, I can't.
Bigger than Kim Kardashian.
She
I actually
run for her money,
I have
baby.
this friend. I have this friend that I call Shin Godzilla.
Hey, Shin, why do you keep calling me that? I'll never tell.
Oh no, I've seen her post pictures on her story, and I'll just send a picture of Shin. Anyway.
Oh man, that's funny. Dude, but that one shot when he comes out of the ocean and it's just him, like, and after his fourth evolution, I thought that looked so awesome. Like the coloration, the the not the feel, the texture, the look, the orange.
Oh, actually, here's something. You know what his texture is based on?
Is it rubber?
No. His texture is supposed to be a design based off the radiation scarring survivors of the nuclear bombs got in World War II.
Oh, I had no idea that's awesome. But actually, that's not cool. But like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? I don't mean like that.
That's the whole. It is so interesting, but that is the actual design choice of Shin Godzilla's skin. It's supposed to look like radiation scarring.
That's cool. I actually kind of like that, and I like how they paid attention to detail. They really did, and I don't know,
What did you think of his what did you think of his red glow when he wasn't charging up his beam or anything? Like he had that red patch on the sides of his neck, like that red glowing.
oh, like the
Like you know what I'm talking
necklace
about?
kind of thing. Is that like it looked like a necklace, but it was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that
Like
thing.
there was that red glow on his
I
neck and like even on his spines and whatnot here and there.
I
Like when he wasn't
personally
charging his beam.
I personally thought that looked kind of cool because like you hadn't seen that before. I mean, I go with Burning Godzilla and everything, but I feel like with the way this is designed, it fit the character. It really did. It was like this looks kind of cool, and then like with the tail and
Oh,
everything,
absolutely.
and like the way his I don't know something about his arms. I feel like the
That's
arms
one
at
thing
the
a lot of people didn't like was the really stumpy arms, but I thought it made sense because going back to radiation scarring,
Mhm.
like that happened a lot with people who survived the bombs. Their arms and limbs were just they were set to nothing. They were little stumps that were
Mhm. Right.
like as thick as a pole, right?
Yeah, very much so. And it's like hmm, it's just like it looks charcoal. It looks literally like burnt, like a burn victim. It's insane. Like, and let's talk about the tail. Let's talk about the tail for a second. So, and we'll get again more in depth with this. Did you know that the tail actually has a mouth on the end of it? I had no idea that he had a jaw attached to his tail. I thought it was just the beam just showed up out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Oh yeah. Or the what's it called? The sixth form. Like whenever he gets frozen into the sixth form, and again we'll get more into detail with this later. That's actually not CGI. That's an actual prop. That thing exists. Yeah, I want it. But like those Godzilla humanoid creatures remind me so much of xenomorphs. Like that's the one thing that comes to mind from Alien. And it's scary. It looks so creepy. It's like, why does that exist? Why do you evolve like that? Oh, no, honestly. And like I think that was the first one of the first movies where they actually implemented CGI. Because I know that 2014 had CGI, and then because before they used like for the Godzilla versus Destroya film, they used suits. So for this one, they relied solely on CGI, which was good in a sense, and it really brought out the characters' movements. There was actually a part I read on a review video, or actually I saw, where Shin actually had the option to like jump around and like almost fly with his beam, like the beam that oh yeah, I heard that. There was actually a cutout scene of that. That looks scary. Just hovering there, just slithering through the streets. It's like, what is this? He like imagine he's just going down the street, right? You look at him, he turns his head while he's slithering, and his head just keeps turning as he's looking at you and just keeps going straight. Oh, so creepy, bro. Oh man. Okay, so the part where he uses his beam. I believe he uses it twice? No, yes. No, maybe. I don't remember. I watched the movie like 5 days back and I was so caught up with many other things. So you're going to have to help me with this one, okay? So he when he first uses it, is it the one where he like opens his mouth and his jaw extends and okay. How did you like the inner design of his mouth? I thought that looked awesome. Oh yeah, it was like red. It went orange, red, magenta, and then it stayed there, and then it just devolved from that color, right? Yeah, yeah, very confused. Exactly, and it's like, what's it called? Because thinking back to other Godzilla movies, it's like, what is this? This isn't the signature beam that Godzilla has. But since it's a really messed up version of Godzilla, I feel like this was good. This was what it was supposed to be like, because like he's never used it. Oh, it did. I had no idea I had a metaphor. Oh. Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that. All I knew was about the Fukushima disaster that happened and how it like scarred so many people. I didn't even. I thought there was only metaphors for a few things. uh, right. Yeah. Exactly. Very much. That makes sense. Also, I know what you were talking about. The thing that was on the tip of your tongue. You've seen Aliens, right? The face hugger underneath. That's exactly what it looked like. I. It's so weird. Mhm. Oh, so wait, what do you think? This is something I've always thought. What is this thing? What is Godzilla? Like, what could I know everything evolves from something. Nothing evolves from nothing. Okay, so like, what do you think he was before he was evolved into this? I don't remember. I don't remember hearing it. Wa- Was it like a prehistoric thing? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I just don't understand why a lizard's like, radiation tastes good. I'm gonna keep eating this. It's like, no. Yeah, just mix it around with some seasoning and spice. Exquisite. Oh, that's a good question. That is a very good question. I feel like the tail, and there's a picture I have up on stream right now. That tail is giant. There is no way you'd be able to keep that thing up. It'd have to be like, how long is he? Like 5. Oh, so like 9. Jeez, my God. But I don't know how you could keep that thing up. How do you keep that tail up? That tail does not look normal. He got that strong tail. Mm-hmm. Oh, someone legitimately said, I think that tail could make Godzilla fall a little bit. I feel like if it sways back and forth, because it being so big, it could actually like throw off the balance of Godzilla. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't understand why that. Mm-hmm. Right. It's probably a reason for that. I just don't know what. That's the thing. Oh. Yeah, because with the tail that big, that would make sense, because... Yeah, okay. especially to keep it moving. If to keep it moving, that would. Okay, sorry. Anyways, I'll keep going. All right. So whenever he shoots his beam, right? I feel like that beam, it looks so concentrated. It's not like the erratic beam that other Godzillas have, you know? Very much so. I remember I wrote down what it was called, but I don't know where I found it. It was. Mhm. Oh, I don't. I didn't hear that. I don't know. I thought it was called like a photon beam or something. I thought that's what it called. Yeah, yeah. It was. I think it was photons. I'm trying to find where I put it. I can't even read my own writing, man. This is so bad. My brain works faster than my hand does, and it had like a long. Oh, it's called the thermal flame. That's what it's called. And then turns into like a red something something heat ray. I can't read my own writing. This sucks. It sucks. Okay, so we do know that it's called the thermal flame. That's the concentrated beam, not the fire thing. But yeah, and that beam looks so strong. If I had to say, that beam itself is probably like the second strongest beam to exist out of all the Godzillas, excluding the games. That personally, that's just me. Hmm. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, he took out the entire city, right? And oh, let's talk about the music and the cinematography aftermath. Dude, okay, I loved how they played like the I don't want to say opera, but like the sad dramatic music of the whole city. Yeah, and like how he so good. But it won so many awards. Not only did the cinematography win so many awards, the CGI, the music, and I believe the acting won so many awards because it was just that good. Mhm. Oh, it is? Proceeds to destroy the city. I don't know what's happening, but I'm gonna destroy the city. Right. Mm, right. Yeah, he's not human. He's not something that I'm trying to find the words to explain it. He's no one accepts him. Mm, dang, that's metaphorical. Dang. Mm, right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that can hurt. That can scar people, and I don't mean physically, but I mean like mentally.
Is in the crook of their arms. or in their hands. And when the blast went off, they could see all the bones like straight through like an X-ray,
Mm,
like through their
that's
closed
crazy.
eyelids, buried in their crook of their arms or in their hands. They could see all the bones like it was an X-ray. And then after that, like I think it was about 20 seconds, the light died down. They're able to open their uh their eyes and whatnot, but then they got blown by the blast at least like 30 feet back.
Oh my goodness. I mean, like, it's devastating. It's really
And
devastating.
and the people from that, apparently only like 25% of the people on that ship that like it they were there witnessing a test, and only like 25% of them after then could even have kids.
Oh my god. Well, they had flippers, remember? And King of the
Yeah.
Monsters.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's so sad, but I made it funny. I shouldn't do that.
No, that's how people cope. It's all good.
That's how people go. Oh my goodness.
But Persecution of the Masses, which is the soundtrack when Godzilla's second form goes on land and is, you know, walking.
Hmm.
Like it's the first picture of Godzilla's face you see in the movie, or the first scene of
Right.
him.
Yeah, yeah,
Persecution of the Masses, which some of the lyrics are, "Oh God, give us your protection. Let no blame lie at the innocents who have prayed. If your high praise is all we have, let us not be without you."
yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Getting
Um, so
philosophical.
so the whole idea is they're scared. They don't like humans are scared. They're hopeless. They don't understand how to deal with this. It's like a nuclear bomb, because in most situations there's a way you can get around it. There's a way that you'll be fine. But when it comes down to a nuclear explosion,
You can't escape that.
you can escape that.
It's not possible.
And it's just it honestly made me quite emotional, like looking into Shin Godzilla, because the whole movie is just a metaphor for tragedy.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, it's just it's sad, but that's the thing. It was meant to do that. That was the point of what what's his face? Higuchi? Yeah, Higuchi. That's what he was going for. He's like, yeah, I wanted it to be dark. I wanted it to be, like, I wouldn't say touching, but I wanted it to affect people in a way that they hadn't felt before. I wanted it to pay homage to the 1954 movie.
I
And
think a big part of why it did so well in Japan is because they're able to get these metaphors a lot better than we are over here in North America, right?
right, we're just like, yo, cool, giant monster on screen. I love it. But like, and them, it's like it's more to it than just that.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
So like in human perspective, this capitalized the feeling of fear and hopelessness in the situation of a disaster like an earthquake or atomic bomb. The
Mhm.
feeling of not knowing if you're going to prevail through this situation, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Because like, if you were faced with something like that, what would you do in that situation? You
But
either
on the other end of the spectrum, there's Godzilla's perspective. He's not malicious, he's not trying to cause harm. He's scared and confused on what's happening to him, but grows to understand that humans are the cause of these painful changes that are in his body and that are in his body that he's growing through.
right. Yeah, he's the reason
Um
it all
he
happened.
only he only intentionally fights back when he's defending himself. He understands he's not going back to normal and is scared.
Yeah. No, that it makes sense. Because like, I feel like humans as a whole, we only think about ourselves. We don't think about how other things feel. Now, granted, there are some things like with some animals, how like raised in captivity and everything like that. The whole broad spectrum on that. But I feel like all we care about are how we feel. We don't care about how other things or people feel. Because, like what you said, Godzilla felt the exact same thing we felt, but we couldn't understand it because we wouldn't accept it.
Hmm. As basically the whole movie goes back to they dump nuclear waste in the ocean,
Mhm.
and that's coming back like a goddamn boomerang and hitting them square in the back of the head.
I mean, humans kind of deserved it. I'm gonna be honest with you; they kind of did. The
Well,
destruction.
not if you look past all this. Yeah, like they this animal ended up feeling the changes in his body due to this radiation they dumped into the ocean, and this animal came back confused and able to do a lot more than they would have ever thought.
Or what he
And
thought. Because
as said by even the title, persecution of the masses, persecution means your punishment. It means how you're gonna pay for what you did.
Your sins. You have to pay for your sins of what you've done. The sins
And
of.
that's the Shin part. Shin means God in Japanese.
Mm-hmm. It's metaphorical. It all full circle. All full circle.
All of it. It's beautiful. And what I think that little concept of the movie is perfect.
It's what won it awards.
It takes me a lot to say something's perfect, but those things they added to the movie were perfect. Now, the human scenes kind of left it in the dark a little bit. It kind of took away a couple points. But other than that, for a Godzilla movie, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. No, I have to agree.
The only reason I don't put Shin Godzilla into an S tier of my Godzilla movie list is the humans.
Humans ruin the entire damn thing.
Yeah, no, actually, because if it was like, have you ever seen 1954 Godzilla? Like,
I've seen snippets of it. I haven't seen the entire thing.
Right. The acting is amazing in that movie, actually. Like the human drama is actually really good. Like, obviously it's outdated, but
right.
It's really good for its time. And I actually do put 1954 as a perfect Godzilla movie just because it had all these elements that make it perfect.
Yeah, because I think, and to go off what you said, people had never, and during 1954, no one has seen a movie like that. So that's like, it brought a new aspect to, this is what the nuclear monster, the god above all men, what do you do in this situation kind of thing.
Did you know that in the 1954 movie, they like heavily trolled their audience, like, in a fearful way, because they there was a point in the movie they're like, oh, this isn't a movie, by the way,
this is real.
And this was right. And when they said this, that was when Godzilla was like heading towards the movie theater and apparently made a bunch of Japanese people like run out the theater.
Imagine trolling the entire audience like that. Just go up on stage, by the way, this isn't fake.
There's a shooting.
Yeah, this is real, by the way. None of this is fake.
As really like, I know we're laughing about it, but if you really think about it, this is a metaphor for nuclear bombs, and this is fresh to Japan in 1954. That's like, for us in North America, like we deal with horrible struggles of shootings every day. That's kind of like in a theater, or like in a, like, for example, a drama performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody came onto the theater and said, there's somebody with a gun outside, just to add to the performance, right?
Right, yeah. But then, like, that would, we'd be like, are you serious, or are you just kidding right now? Because that's not funny. And then, you know, like, yeah. I completely understand where you're going. I completely understand.
Yeah, exactly.
So the
overall...
Oh, my bad, sorry. No, you go ahead.
No, mine's really short. I'll save it till the end.
Okay, let's talk about... Okay, as we were talking about his beam and how it, like, literally leveled the entire city, what did you think about the dorsal beam? Something we had never seen before. This is, like, a new aspect.
Oh, God. It was so cool.
It really was.
Like, they do it more. I hope they do it with more Godzillas, honestly.
I feel like if that were to happen and you use, like Legendary Godzilla, because Legendary Godzilla really didn't have the kind of nuclear, God, I can't say nuclear, right? Like, with the overheating, he doesn't have to worry about that. But with Shin, he did. That's why he, like, you know, overheated. You can actually see, there's a part on whenever he's done with his, I guess his whole, like, raid or whatnot, you can actually see, like, on the cinematography, there's a shot on the back where you see, like, the heat from the dorsal plates, like, heat up, and you can see, like, whenever you look out onto this pavement, you're in Canada, so I don't know if you relate to this, but, like...
There's hot places here. But,
like, whenever you look at the concrete and you see, or, like, a car, and you see, like, the heat waves come off of it.
Yeah.
Like that. It looked like that, and it's like, huh, that they paid extra attention to that, and I loved that.
You're from Canada. I've been to Vegas enough times.
You're from Canada, so you probably don't know. Hey, hold on now.
I've been to Vegas probably 4 times.
I know what I'm talking about, alright? But yeah, no, that was, I really like that, and having that being adapted into a Godzilla movie in the future would be cool. Like, another what's it called? Like a super move, right? I feel like that'd be
hmm
awesome.
Well, and people like I've even seen people say, "Oh, that's just a staple to Shin." But if you really think about it, the nuclear pulse could have been literally just a staple to Heisei, but it showed up again more and more and more.
Exactly, but it was called something different. They didn't want to tell you that, but it was called something different.
Yeah, exactly. As the same thing could be done with the back beams. I kind
Ex-
of want to see Legendary Godzilla do it at one point. That would be dope.
exactly, but I don't know. Would it be like? We have to think about it. Would it be concentrated beams like what Shin had, or would it just be like just regular flames?
You never know, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's a weird thing. I don't know because again, how did Shin concentrate a beam like that off his back and his tail? That's the one thing I don't understand because it took a while to concentrate that beam from his mouth. So how was he able to concentrate it immediately after shooting it off his dorsal plates and his tail?
Well, honestly, right after that, I guess it was him getting used to it. Because with the smoke and the fire one, that was his first time using it. And
Right.
if you
Yeah.
remember, after he used the back beams, he actually went back to doing it from his mouth, and it was concentrated right away.
Oh, right, right, yeah. And then it went back to the fire and the smoke.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That
And then I do believe the tail beam should stay with Shin only because he's got the mouth, and it makes sense.
right. Yeah. That definitely makes sense. That's understandable.
I I didn't really care too much about the tail beam. It was cool and all, but like,
It's kind of pointless a little bit. Just
yeah,
a little bit.
like it was used only at the end of the movie and
Hmm.
for a very short period of time.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, you're completely right. I just feel like the only reason the tail existed was for the humanoid Godzilla figures, but they never actually made they did make an appearance, but they didn't actually do anything, you know?
It was cool. I actually I don't know what they were doing about that. I think it was to capitalize fear of him evolving furthermore, or maybe it was a
Hmm.
shot to the original script or whatever. But
Right.
who knows?
Uh and okay, so I'm trying to remember how the cool okay, so after that attack, the humans are left to be like they're like in awe. Well, I wouldn't say awe, they're more in like horror, like, oh my god, this thing just did this. And they're like trying to figure out a way, they bring in scientists and whatnot, and they do all this stuff to try to figure out how to take this thing out. So after the bunker bombs had dropped, right? This thing
Right,
has to regenerate or like I guess cool down his reactor. So he stops. He's comatose, can't move. And they get
right.
a DNA sample. They make a coolant off of it, and they drop buildings on Shin. Correct?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
they
So
knock him down.
and I find it weird because if he had the ability to move, right? Like, because after the buildings had dropped on him and he was on the floor and the coolant was being injected into him, he was able to move. He like thrashed around and everything. So do you think it was more or less like a fight or flight kind of thing? Because I mean, if he's just standing there and he can still look, I mean, why couldn't he just move?
Yeah, it was probably just a fight or flight situation. Um, are you satisfied with their concept? I felt like it was a little interesting that their concept was to freeze him to resolve the issue, but
Um, that's a
like
good.
it kind of felt for me it felt like that form of doing it kind of felt underwhelming
Mhm.
for the movie
That
in
that's
a
a
way.
yeah. I see where you're going. I honestly I can't think of any other way they'd go about doing it. I mean, if I were in the movie itself and I was one of the scientists, we can't beat it with heat because if it's radiation and radiation is like heat and whatnot because like if we drop a nuke on the thing it's just gonna what's it gonna do, it's gonna just absorb it, right? Or I wouldn't say
Well,
absorb it.
actually, the in the movie that's their was their original plan to kill him was with a nuke.
Oh yeah, then the US, right? The US was gonna
But
B2
the
bombers.
reason they didn't want to do that. And I think that was another really emotional part of the movie. Like, and this was actually something I really should have mentioned earlier about the human because I did like this little touch
Mhm.
was them being like, should we really put another nuke on this country?
Right, yeah, because they've
Like
had so many
talking about
before.
because yeah, they had the two in World War II, and now they're like, I don't think, and they don't want it to come to nuking the country again because there's still people alive that witness this happen. Well, not witness per se, but well, maybe I don't know, but people that heard about it at least.
Right. Yeah, I just...
And
Oh, sorry. Keep going. That's my
no,
fault.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, not...
Actually, there definitely was in 2016 because the actor in the original Godzilla suit witnessed the bombs, and he was still alive in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, there was definitely people alive who witnessed the explosions. So the
Hmm.
whole moral concept of nuking the country again, it was almost a no-go for them.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. I feel like... about the blood coagulant.
Yeah, yeah.
So it says here the strategy involved creating a blood the coagulant that would cool Godzilla's internal temperature to the point where the monster would freeze. Due to the inability to sufficiently regulate its body temperature, the team narrowly manages to create the coagulant. They didn't even have time to test this thing, so how would they even know it worked? But obviously it did. So with hours left to spare due to Patterson's ability to buy the team time despite the risks. So I mean, like, I feel like the coagulant was basically a 1 in a million% chance of working because they didn't test it. They assumed that the amount that it had would actually freeze him to a point where he wouldn't be able to move. Now, granted, it happened, but they didn't know that for sure.
Yeah, and that was that was a very another part of almost like they were pretty hopeless at this point, right?
Yeah, they would go with anything.
Yeah. So and even the fear of this not working, and when they first put the first dosage of the coolant into his mouth, and the scene when they're doing that is dorsal plates light up. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
remember watching that with my friends for the first time, and we're all sitting like, "Oh no!"
Oh no, things are gonna go haywire from here on out.
Then he gets back up, and he's like a little bit, you know, like in pain, so he's pissed.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they find a way to get him down again and put the rest of the coolant in, and he gets back up, and they're all like, "Okay, well, did this work or no?"
Did it work? How do we know? When is it going to take effect? But then I feel like a sigh of relief came to everyone in the world, mainly people in Japan or Tokyo, when he actually froze. They're like, "Oh my god, it actually worked! Thank God." And then there was a part. I don't know if you heard. There was a deleted scene. I think it wasn't Katarino. Who's the person that had you in one of their YouTube videos?
Altiori.
Altiori, yeah, she made a video explaining a deleted scene of people from the J something. I forget what the name was. It was like a it was a JSD something. I don't
I
remember.
couldn't tell you.
Okay, I have no idea. But they had a deleted scene where it was like after the offense of him being blown up, I think. And like the eyes, the teeth, and like just like his skin and everything were everywhere. And
Oh yeah, I saw that. And apparently his third form was supposed to have a scene of like puking all over the place, like
yeah,
blood.
the blood is supposed to like disintegrate everything in a like a I don't know how many a mile radius or something, but it literally disintegrated everything. But it was like too violent or something. It could have been so.
Yeah, it could have like increased the
Yeah,
movie's
I thought it would look
rating,
cool.
and that would actually, yeah, it would have.
I mean, if it was meant to be dark. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Actually, I think Godzilla vs. Kong had the same issue, that there was one scene that almost turned it R-rated, which would have screwed it over in especially China. And that
Oh,
was its biggest moneymaker, right?
yeah.
The Skullcrawler scene, the blood was supposed to be red, and that would have.
Oh god. Actually, that would have been too bad. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah, no, apparently that would have pushed it to R-rated, which would have made it banned in China.
oh dang. They really, man, I don't even know how China works when it comes to ratings, but I did not know that. You know more about this stuff than I do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and they could not afford to lose China.
No, very much so. I mean, imagine though if it actually was red. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
It would be, and actually, we know it was red at one point for a scene of the movie being shot when they did spill all the blood all over their little area that they were hiding in. It was
Mm.
all red. It was all red when it was being shot at that in the behind
Oh
the scenes.
my goodness, bro. I think now that I think about it, them going with the green, actually, I think played more towards how a skull crawler, I get the insides, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's just me. So let's talk about where am I right now? Hold on. Do you have anything interesting? Because while I read over this, if you want to talk about something, because again, I can't read my writing, so it's gonna take me a while.
I don't know. My overall take is that I am a sucker for deep metaphors and meaning, and this movie was the most accurate capture of the horrors of nuclear warfare that a Godzilla movie has ever done.
Right.
The movie is beautiful. The soundtrack is gorgeous.
Right. Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
human's reaction is basically my only gripe, and it's actually kind of unwatchable. Well, not unwatchable, but like unbearable. How boring it is at some points.
Oh yeah, especially the board meeting scenes. Those were just terrible. I hated those.
No, it was fine for the first like half hour of it, but then it was like,
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're doing this for another hour. Cool, whatever. It's like, just let me see Shin. It's like, pretty much.
Oh, I was very sad. The scene with Shin using all his powers after they bought his back. That was the highlight of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be like, personally, if I were in Shin's shoes and that happened to me, it's like, okay, I'm pissed now, and y'all are gonna pay for it. And the fact that his beam is able to reach that high up and attack a B2 bomber that quickly, that's kind of impressive. That's a bit impressive.
Being photons, it moves at light speed, right?
Yeah.
Which also means it probably could reach like the moon or even Mars for that matter.
Well, I mean, that's without him overheating. What happened? Let's talk about that. What would happen if he just overheated? He just kept going and kept overheating. Would he just explode?
I don't know. Maybe he would start melting or something and then cause more pain. I don't know.
Oh, like a skeleton version? It's just his muscles and everything as he just keeps melting and just keeps using it?
Yeah, kind of like like Godzilla's death in Godzilla vs. Destoroyah.
Oh, yeah, like that. I feel like if that were to happen, rated R. Rated R, as he's melting and everything. It's like Indiana Jones and is it Raiders of the... No, not Raiders. Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Whenever the people, as they look at the Ark, they just start melting. Kind of like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, the atomic breath of Shinto, you're talking about the speed. For an idea here, it would about take his atomic breath 8 minutes to reach the sun.
8 minutes to reach the sun?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wait, you're talking about the beam or light?
The beam.
Beam. Okay, beam. Both. Both. Okay. That's.
Both.
Do you think it?
Photons.
Do you think the beam? I know it was able to level a city, right? Do you think it would do damage to the sun?
You never know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I cannot tell you. I do not know astrophysics. I like physics, but I do not know that stuff.
That's too far. That's above my pay grade. I can't figure that out.
Yeah. I don't get paid enough for this.
I feel like it could blow up the moon. Personally, I feel like that beam could blow up the moon.
If you ever get a hold of Matt Pat, you can ask him.
Yeah, I'll ask him Matt Pat. Hey, tell me how this works. It's like okay. He should definitely do something on that. I think
you could probably definitely do a movie on that or a video.
Oh yeah, I could, but I wouldn't know what I'm talking about because again, I don't know anything about astrophysics. I don't know a thing. I'll just bull my way through it and just be like, yeah, it blows up the moon. It'd be like a 5-second video.
After Matt Pat's last video on the Godzilla vs. Kong one, I was quite disappointed. So.
Yeah, it's like technically speaking. Like no.
He didn't take any time to go into the lore of it. I understand we're on a tangent, but I'm just like letting you read over.
Right? Yeah. It makes sense.
But Matt Pat in the GVK, video. Like he was talking about what was it? Like
I think it was
Godzilla. Apparently, the war between Godzilla and Kong is that Kong won, is what he was saying, and it drove Godzilla up to the surface. And I'm like,
no.
or no, he was in the Hollow Earth before, and drove him down there, and then Kong's species was on top, and that's why Kong's on Skull Island. And I'm like, what? Have you even looked into the lore of it? Like,
He got his stuff from Korra.
yeah, no, exactly. As Godzilla literally only was down there because there was more radiation down there. And
Yeah.
once humans started doing nuclear stuff, he came back up. It was
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and I there's a video on Dangerville, I don't know if you've seen it, like, Godzilla's species was like the dictator of the entire world. And Kong's species were on Skull Island. And then, you know, Kong and his species wanted to expand their, what's it called? Their race. But as
Right.
soon as they went into Hollow Earth, because that's where the Godzillas lived among Earth as well, on the surface and in Hollow Earth, they fought. And they didn't want to, Godzilla's species didn't want to be challenged. So they saw Kong's species as a threat. And once it got to the point where it's like, okay, so they're going to keep doing this, they decided to flood the main entrance to the surface, and it caused the Kongs to go to Skull Island and stay there. So they couldn't do anything because they can't swim that far. So that's basically what that is.
Yeah.
At least that's what I know so far. All right.
It's pretty cool. Oh,
Okay.
You got your stuff?
All right, so there was a part in the film actually, and there was a booklet in Shin Godzilla. Now, before we start any of this, we're gonna start talking about the lore based of it. Okay, I want to get one thing clear, and I've stated this before: the 5th through 8th forms do not exist. They were hypothesized.
It's not fair to use them in versus battles.
You cannot. They do not exist, and I'm saying this in the nicest way possible. And it's not to you, It's not to you, Bowie. Like, I'm not signaling this towards you. I'm just saying this in a broad sense.
No, even in my versus series on TikTok, I don't ever allow stuff like the celestial forms and whatnot because you cannot pull feats from it. It's a script.
Exactly. And like, if it never showed up, you can't use it. And since it was all hypothesized, it never existed to begin with. It was all concepts. So
exactly.
I'm leaving it at that. Now the whole world knows that Shin's 5th through 8th forms never existed.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Final period. End of story.
Their only existence was on a piece of paper.
Exactly. And it's even stated. I'll actually hold on. Let me find where I wrote this down. Let me find.
Okay.
Says if they decided to go in that direction, it would have been. Oh no, that's later on. Forget I said anything. This is for later on. Oh no. Okay, it was likely planned that this was never meant to be a part of the film. There was a huge rumor going around that everything mentioned was a myth, something mistranslated from the Japanese art of Shin Godzilla. So everything that we saw in there is more likely than not a myth. It was mistranslated, and people kept thinking, "Oh, he's a celestial being," and people keep using the excuse, "Well, his potential's there, so obviously it must mean that he's celestial." No, you can't base this off of potential. It's based off of what is shown.
Because, well, in versus battles, for example, we can put him up against Legendary Godzilla, and that's a common thing I see.
Yeah.
I've already covered this, how Legendary Godzilla just... The only thing Shin has going for him, and this is talking about 4th form, because that is the most we can ever go off of.
Right.
And it's the most we will ever go off of, unless there's something else added.
Right.
The one thing Shin has going for him is his power output that he can do within, 10 minutes?
Right, yeah.
And I guess we're going into a versus now, but...
It's fine. It's fine.
Legendary Godzilla. Too durable.
Mm-hmm.
Too durable to die within 5 minutes to that. And after all that is done, Shin has to recharge. And if you don't think Legendary Godzilla is going to take advantage of that, with his superiority complex.
Yeah. No, it's the same thing. Exactly. And I've stated this before, people keep asking the question, Shin Godzilla versus Kong 2021, or Kong Skull Island. Here's the thing. In terms of Kong and how he works, he is very agile. He can move. And if Shin misses that beam...
The only thing is if he goes to Shin and tries attacking from the back to get away from the atomic breath, and he uses that back beam,
it's over. Dead. Yeah, no, Kong is dead.
It's over.
Very much so.
That's a very situational thing.
Exactly. That's what you have to take into consideration when these versus battles happen. It's like, how is this going to play out? What do you have to base this off of? And all of that. Now, if Shin used the beam, let's just say he used all the beams, right? And he froze. Every single Titan that he goes against, or any single person he goes against, is going to take advantage of that 2-week period. Or however long he's there.
His only chance is to get the hits off while he can, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he can't, because that beam is powerful.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
And that's an understatement. Like, if it hits Kong, Kong is going to be cut like butter.
Exactly. He's got to get lucky.
Yeah, exactly. There's all kinds of ones I've done that have been really interesting, like Zilla Jr., who is, oh my god, I've looked at his feats. Oh, he's interesting. So basically, Zilla Jr. only weighs 500 tons. So hand-to-hand combat is not an option. With any of these like Monsterverse Titans, but there's a couple interesting things that his like reaction speed is like faster than light or something.
Yeah, well, that seems to be a normal thing with a lot of these Titans. It's like, yeah, I can go 4 times like, or something, whatever.
And like Zilla Jr. is insanely quick, is really good at dodging and weaving and stuff, and has atomic breath himself.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a really interesting thing with like one of my most longest ones in my Discord server was like Kong versus Kong 2021 versus Zilla Jr. from the animated series, and it's basically, the idea here is it's super situational. If Kong gets a hold of Zilla Jr., it's over. If Zilla Jr. is able to keep his distance, Zilla Jr. wins.
Right, and I feel like since Kong doesn't have a ranged attack, he has to get up close. Yeah. He has to. And if Zilla can keep away from him, what's Kong gonna do? And I'm not saying this is like, oh, Zilla Jr. is gonna win no matter what. It's just you have to think about it in the grand scheme of things,
You know what I kind of want to see for a Monsterverse movie? I want to see Kong construct a giant bow.
A giant boat? What you said?
A bow, like a bow.
A boat. Oh, I thought you said a boat. And I'm like, what is he gonna do on a boat?
I know. He's gonna. But you know how cool that would be?
That would be actually kind of cool, or like a spear or something.
Oh, that's probably even better.
A sword. Imagine Kong with a sword.
What is this, Pacific Rim?
a sword and a shield,
katana, and some like samurai armor.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, with the headgear and everything, he pulls like the whole. He talks talking Japanese and everything. It's like, wait, Kong can talk? Godzilla. Nani? Godzilla. Ho ho.
Somebody in one of my comment sections said you versus Grant, and my answer to that was the universe would lose, and the first thing that came to my mind is that one JoJo fucking picture of like them walking towards each other.
Oh yeah, that one, the Dio and Jotaro one. Yeah. Oh man, that would be that would be so funny. Just a whole bunch of that. That would be so funny. Oh my god. The universe would implode on itself, okay? Just one punch and everything's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anyways, let's get back to what we were doing. Okay.
That was a fun tangent.
That was very fun, actually. So, I don't know if I mentioned this. Maybe I did. The original plan was for Godzilla to divide, believe it or not. He had the nuclear fission or fusion in order to separate himself and have a copy of himself. So Godzilla was meant to separate into 2 beings and have an exact copy of himself where they would keep dividing and never stop until they consumed the face of the earth.
Yeah, no, I heard about that one. That one it's mind-boggling to start with, and
Imagine that many.
yeah, yeah. So he like becomes far from what an animal actually is,
Right.
as every other concept of him that we've seen in them that exist within the movie was it was still by definition an animal. But
Mhm.
now we're getting to the realms that it's beyond that.
It's something completely different, something that shouldn't exist but does.
Yeah, exactly. And it's oh
It's
it's
very
really
interesting. It's the lore. Like this is what like what could have happened. And then you look into it, it's like, God, this came from Earth, and then it turns into this, like the grand scheme of whatever this thing is. And don't worry, to the people watching, we'll get more in depth with that later. But this is just
Have you
the
ever heard
tip of the iceberg.
the one of him flying, like
Oh
the
yeah,
artwork for it anyway?
yeah, I heard about that. I think I wrote that down somewhere. I don't know.
No. Look at this. Look at the artwork for it, eh?
Are you on the Discord?
On the Discord, yeah. It's
Okay.
in chat.
In chat. Hold on. Let me go. Let me get it. Oh yeah, I saw that one. Dude, he's using his tail for propulsion.
Yeah, it like becomes like a Reshiram's tail from Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And the wings look awesome. It just grows out of him. Like it just looks so
like they're
cool.
parts of his dorsal plates.
Oh yeah. I wonder if that were actually shown in the movie, right? I mean, what would that how would it look? Would it just grow out? Would he scream in pain or whatnot? And I don't know.
Oh yeah. And another thing confirmed about Shin Godzilla: every time he roared was when he was in pain.
Oh. Oh yeah.
It was
Whenever he was
screaming.
freezing, and like I think each one was, and I mentioned this earlier, each one was a different version of Godzilla roaring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Like in his fourth form, the most common one used was Heisei roar.
Oh yeah.
As the only one used in like the third form was was the 1954 roar, and
I found this. Hold on, I'm gonna send this to the group chat. Oh my god, hold on.
Right.
Hold on. This one's hilarious. Hold on, I need to add a scene so I can hear the desktop audio because okay, desktop audio. All right, speak for a second. Just say something completely random.
chicken fingers. Chicken.
Got it. Okay, we're good. All right, so everyone sees this, right? Okay, I'm gonna send it to the Discord. This is the funniest thing I've seen. It's about the flying thing.
All right. Oh,
Look
no.
at Imagine that's how he flew, just with the tail beam and
He
everything.
just like slithers through the air like a snake.
Just straight. Just doesn't even flinch. He just moves like that. That would be so
That's him
funny.
only using 0.0001% of his power.
Nani? Oh, I have another one here. I'm gonna send this one. We're going on a tangent, but I don't care. I really don't care. Okay,
That's
we're
the best part.
yeah, that honestly is the best part. Here, this one. It's all the Godzillas flying with using their
I've seen that
atomic
one, I've seen that
breath.
We got the 54 one over there with the Japanese flag.
It's like I think it's like symbolizing who the winner is.
Oh, I just realized Hedorah picture turned.
Yeah, Hidora's just there. He's like literally look at him. He's like sweating, dude. Like, oh my god, they're all coming for me.
The Japanese Air Force.
This is what we need. We need no one else but this. My
Could you
God.
imagine in World War II, like the Japanese Air Force is called, and you just see that coming over the horizon?
Oh my god, it's like we are all dead. They use that on the US. It's like, oh, you dropped a bomb on us? Fine, we'll use this.
Ah, look what came out of the bombs.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, hold on. I got one. I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna send it to you. This is what the humanoid figure would look like if it actually like existed. This you can't argue that this
like departed from the.
yeah, if it departed from him. You can't tell me this doesn't look like a xenomorph or like a different version of a xenomorph. If I would
Right.
hold on. There.
Oh.
That's
Ooh.
nasty, dude. It looks so creepy. That would take over humanity, and it's like, ew.
Me recovering from a hangover, actually.
Me after being dehydrated after a week. Oh man, we have so much fun with this.
Back in high school, all the 10th graders coming up to you asking for a dual rip.
Football players after waking up at 5 a.m. for 2-a-days be like, that's so funny. That's so stupid. It's so funny.
The football players coming off the field with a massive concussion. As
just keep chanting, go, go, go. All right. Let's keep going. All right, so there's another one where it said originally the humanoid Godzillas were meant to be Godzilla's sixth form. All something. All of them were to have a hive mind. Eventually, they would lose the ability to feel pain and emotion, essentially becoming unstoppable. To make things worse, they'd be able to regenerate and from a single fragment. So, like, if they were exploded, right? If a single fragment, it's like Cell from Dragon Ball. If a single fragment existed, it would regenerate almost instantly. And a DNA similar to a Hydra. It's like basically like that. Sixth form would also lose requirement for air and water. Living solely on the energy it creates within itself, achieving full self-energy production.
Jesus. It's like putting the plug back into the extension cord.
Honestly, but that sounds so scary. Because, like, imagine not having the need for air or water and just only thriving off the energy inside your own body.
Yeah, no, that's actually really interesting. Like, could you imagine it? I mean, in a real world equivalent, that's like us just constantly spawning a hot dog in our stomach whenever we're hungry.
Exactly. You never have to worry about anything. Ever.
Yeah, precisely.
It's crazy. It's scary to think about. It really is. Because then, like, the humanoid figures, they would just... Imagine if those things went loose. Like, if he happened to reach his sixth form, right? Those things on the loose, just infinitely coming out of this thing's tail.
It kind of reminded me, the way I thought of it is like, I'm assuming you've seen World War Z.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Like when, like I really thought of it like that, like especially with the scenes of them, like, you know, piling up on top of each other to get over a wall. And
who knew zombies were smart?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be interesting.
Yeah, just the idea of that though being put in a Godzilla movie of all things, like, whew.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. And like, what would the humanoid figures do to the humans? Would they just like eat them like zombies would? Would they walk around on all fours like a xenomorph would and then attack at will or something? Like, how does that?
No, I could not tell you. But do you know what's a really interesting thing? What did you say the budget for Shin Godzilla was again?
The budget was, I can actually look it up right now. I wanted to say it was
budget.
Like for, I want to say it was like 1.6.
15.
Oh, 15
million.
Oh, 50. Oh, I was off. Never mind.
So, well, no, in turns, like the reason they didn't do all this stuff is because they didn't have that budget, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that the budget for Godzilla King of the Monsters was 10 times that.
Well, I think sorry.
More than 10 times that.
Wasn't it because of the CGI?
Godzilla King of the Monsters. That and the rights for these monsters, like all these different things, right?
Right.
The actors, obviously, American actors, they are a lot more expensive, like Hollywood actors.
Mm-hmm.
Like overall, it's just a more expensive movie.
Well, because I think the reason that's the case is because people trust in Hollywood's ability to produce good movies. Now, granted, there are some that can't, but because Godzilla has such a good, history with these movies, they assumed, yeah, we can do good. And you said with King of the Monsters, correct? Or
yeah.
No, yeah. Since the first 2014 Godzilla did so well, they thought to themselves, since it did well, this one's probably going to do well. I mean, it just makes sense. So that's why they give them, so much money to work with because they know it's going to perform so well. And then when it doesn't, I'm not saying this one didn't, but when it doesn't, it's like, well, live and you learn, and then they
Well,
go from there.
Godzilla himself is an actor, or not an actor, a character we'll never probably see again in our history, like him, because
Hmm.
he's an actual legal citizen of Japan.
Hmm. Right.
Japan, the Hollywood Walk of Fame has his footprint in it.
Oh, they
He's
have a statue of him. They have
yeah,
that too.
yeah.
Amusement park.
No, he's a character. He's the standard for all kaiju movies. All modern kaiju movies, their standard is based on the 1954 Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the overall iconic, how iconic Godzilla is. It's uncomparable. I mean, that's a really nice thing with Godzilla versus King Kong, or Godzilla versus Kong and King Kong versus Godzilla, the
Hmm.
original. The amount of how iconic these two monsters are. These are the faces of movie monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course it's gonna do good, but I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know. It's pretty
yeah,
interesting.
it's
And
very.
seeing a Godzilla movie change this much, like in Shin Godzilla and their original script, and if they had the budget of Hollywood.
Oh my god, that would be. I feel like the action scenes would be a whole lot more what's it called? More in depth, so to speak. And
Yeah.
they would they would probably give him more of a, I don't want to say human-esque kind of feel to it, but like a oh god, what is the word I want to use? Give him more screen time, emotion, and whatnot. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, it's somewhere in that
No,
direction.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, something in that direction.
Yeah, no. I do like how they describe Godzilla's emotions, through the soundtrack and everything. But I kind of wish it was more obvious.
Right,
You can, if you really think about it, he's in pain. You understand that he's not malicious.
right.
Shin Godzilla. He's not like GMK, for example, who was a malicious Godzilla that was made up of the spirits of the dead soldiers of World War II who were trying to get on revenge.
Exactly.
But Shin Godzilla is literally in the movie, the final idea of the movie, he is just a animal that wants to go home and stop feeling pain, and that's understandable.
I feel
You
like
can't help but feel
my bad. Sorry, keep going.
you can't help but feel bad for the thing, right?
Yeah, no, you can't, because we don't understand how other things feel. Like I said before, we only care about ourselves. The human race is we only care about how we do things. We don't care about the well-being of pretty much anyone else, and it's something that we have to get by. Same thing could be said about us and how we treat other people and whatnot.
Right.
But I feel like
Yeah.
if you watch this movie for the very first time, right? You know nothing about Shin Godzilla. You would just look at Godzilla as this is a monster. I have no feeling for him and everything. But like watching it a few more times, you think to yourself, he feels like what you said, the same thing that we feel, and we don't understand that because we take things at face value.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just, I don't know. The best way I can describe this movie is that the whole thing just highlights a tragedy and nobody's winning.
Oh yeah, everyone's losing. Everyone's losing something.
Everybody's losing. Godzilla himself is losing. The humans themselves are losing. It's just a big tragedy for everybody. Because Godzilla isn't out here getting revenge. He's not out here getting what he wants to do. He's, like I said, he's scared. He doesn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like he's losing his. I don't want to say humanity, but whatever you call an animal's, I guess, person. Like with us,
yeah, he's losing his ego, which I'm using that not as
yeah, no, I understand.
Usually, ego, by the way, is the Latin word for life.
Yeah,
or your character.
exactly.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word, but something like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. Let's talk about. After the self energy production, achieving that, it says Godzilla would then eventually lose his teeth and mouth, becoming almost undescribable, like a Lovecraftian creature, like Cthulhu and whatnot. The mere sight of it would drive anyone insane. It would have lost internal organs and found a way to travel into space and find its way to other planets and populate the solar system. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. Well, and that was a really cool thing, like in the movie Bird Box.
Oh yeah, Bird Box. Yep.
Like they never show you what they're looking at, but the way they describe it to you just kind of
Crawl a little
makes your
bit.
skin crawl. Yeah, like it gives you goosebumps the way they're describing, or the people that are out just saying it's so beautiful and getting other people to look at it, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's
Um,
not. It's probably not. I mean, we don't know.
I kind of want there to be more Godzilla movies where there's kind of like a physiological, like more than just a physical effect, like a mental effect on humans.
Oh yeah, like
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 what I
what
described
Cthulhu.
with like a Destoroyah ability, like a possible Destoroyah ability for the MonsterVerse.
Yeah, like
Like,
you look at him, you go mentally insane.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I completely understand that. They should do something like that.
Oh, it would just highlight it. It would capitalize an extra layer of fear to it.
Oh yeah, very much so. And like add what's it called? Something else that would like I said, like relive your worst nightmare or something, or have your worst nightmare come to life, but it's not really there. You know, it's all in your head. Kind of like Outlast, so to speak. Outlast 2, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I just find it weird. It's like looking at it, and like it would lose its eternal organs, its jaw, its mouth. Like, what would that look like?
How would that feel for the creature?
Yeah, how would Shin feel? I mean, I know that at that time he would. Wait a minute. No, hold on. There's many of them because if he's meant to split, there'd be so many of them, and then they go populate the Earth. It wouldn't just be one, but technically, it's all an entity. It's a hive mind from the original. So
In that, what was it? Fifth form is when they split apart, and then later on down the line they lose
yeah,
their pain sensory. Correct?
yeah, pretty much the fifth form, the sixth form. All of it would be a hive mind. The sixth form is where they would become a hive mind and would
Okay.
lose pain and emotion.
Okay, so the splitting apart, I could have like overall the evolutions for Shin probably felt horrible.
Very much so, yeah. It must
Like
hurt.
it's like the configuration of like your bones cracking, they're just dislocating all at the same time. Just ooh,
It's like a fatality in
skin.
Mortal Kombat.
I think for him it would kind of like all these things coming apart is kind of like having your skin peeled off in a way.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Yeah, probably
Oh my
not
god.
nice.
Yeah, no, that sounds. Oh, ow. Or like having what's that Viking ritual thing that they do? They like hang you up and then they like take your skin from your back and like do that weird thing. You know what I'm talking about?
The Blood Eagle?
I believe so. Yes, like something
That's
like
the one
that.
where they take your lungs out your back, eh?
Oh yeah, that one. That
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Yeah.
They feel like that probably. Oh, that sounds. That's the pain he must go through. But once he can't feel pain anymore, that's got to be like a relief. But not like he can
Right.
think of it as a relief because he's something more than what we can comprehend at that point.
I almost feel like adding that would have kind of, I don't know. I just have my certain opinions of where this movie should have went, and it
Hmm.
is what it is. I feel like he should have never lost pain to kind of highlight this creature's anger and just overall insanity from this pain. Like, I know this is like obviously not the same idea, but have you ever seen the Big Les show with like all the Australian Sasquatches and whatnot, like on YouTube?
No, I have not, sadly.
There's this one character named Clarence in it, and he is hideous, and they constantly bully him on the show. But if you
Oh,
really think about him, he lives a freaking life of hell because he like survived some sort of horrible science experiment where now every time he feels pain, it never goes away.
Oh.
But every time something bad happens to him, he just regenerates, but he still feels the pain, and it's just everlasting, and then it just stacks up again and again. Even something like stubbing your toe, that pain will last forever.
Oh my god, that must hurt. No, that just sounds painful, man. That's like, well, obviously it's painful, but like, that's insane. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just that concept kind of makes. Ugh.
it makes you feel some way. It's
Well,
like,
think about it. Every time you've hit your shin on something, every time you've stubbed your toe, every time you've rammed your hip into something hard, like
that
like
pain.
you said you're 6 foot at the start of the like obviously
Yeah.
you've hit your hip on something if you're 6 foot.
Yeah, my pinky toe has been
It
through a
doesn't feel
lot.
nice. It doesn't feel nice. Like I'm taller too. I know how it feels to like crack your hip on a door handle.
It's not fun. It's really not. Like, watching football. Like whenever somebody has like, you know who Joe Theismann is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Theismann. Whenever that happened with Lawrence Taylor and his bone got like his leg, you could feel that. When you see something like that, you can feel it. It's that bad. Now imagine what the person that actually had it happen to them felt. That, oh my god, dude. I can't even talk about it. It hurts me to talk about because I know what it looks like, and it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Shin Godzilla. He's doing things a body is not supposed to do.
Like, it's
Especially while feeling pain. Like, imagine your body just like you can't stop it. You
Yeah,
start
there's no
going
way.
through something and your body just starts your fingers start growing. Like you've had growing pains before.
Oh yeah.
Imagine that accelerated by like 200%.
There's no way you can stop it. You just can't.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a pain that you absolutely cannot overcome. It's unbearable.
And that's just it's hard to think about because it's like you can't stop it. You're just there for the ride, and you have to bear witness to everything that's happening to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like,
Yeah,
like there's certain levels of pain that you can comprehend. Like, I just got a tattoo the other day. I actually don't mind it at all. It's not bad, but that's a completely different realm, and a lot of people can't even bear tattoos, right?
yeah, no, that's
No,
very much so.
imagine your body just disfiguring and like cracking open and like growing new.
Limbs or whatnot.
No thanks.
Yeah, no,
No
I couldn't. I
thanks.
could not do that. That sounds so bad.
Well, that's the part that makes me can't help but feel bad for Godzilla in this movie.
Yeah, we had to look at it from a different perspective, and I don't think people do that a lot.
No, and I think it should be, and it helps you respect the movie that much more.
Yeah, very much so. And that's what made the movie so good.
Agreed.
And did you know that
Actually,
Oh, sorry, my bad.
no, I was just gonna say I just recently got the movie on disc.
Oh.
Anyway, continue.
Oh, okay. The beam, the beam is exactly the same sound as Destroyer's beam.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it's
never noticed that.
exact same
I
sound.
never noticed that.
Exact same. I realized that the other day. I'm like, huh. I went back and looked at it. I'm like, oh my god, they're exactly the same. You can actually look at it yourself. It's the same thing. They use so many. Okay, so let's talk about where did I leave off? Okay. So the seventh form, after he goes into space and can populate the solar system, right? His seventh form would happen. What does that say? Evolved. Okay, so he would then evolve into something and create a small universe within its body.
Yeah.
Would have been an extremely primitive and basic to comprehend to the complexity of the known universe, merely being the building blocks of creation, synthesizing any and all material it comes in contact with, thus forming it into a creation that looks less and less like a creature from this dimension. So, with those words alone,
Right.
I can't express how, because he doesn't feel pain, so I can't say pain is this. How would that even look?
I don't know. As it says, it's incomprehensible, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's basically something. The whole idea is to kind of like make us as humans uncomfortable because humans generally have fear to things we don't understand. So even in a piece of lore where you describe something as incomprehensible,
You just can't
it
comprehend it.
yeah, exactly. Like your brain cannot process that information. And that's just a scary thought to us as humans as being we need to know everything. Like that's just a part of our biology. That's what drives people, and that's why humans are at the top of the food chain right now because we needed to know everything.
But we don't
And
know anything, basically. Like, if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, in the universe, we don't know a thing.
no, and that's a really frustrating thing to me. As growing up, I've really capitalized that growing up, like from a kid to getting older. I've needed to know everything. I
Mm-hmm.
don't form opinions based on other people's opinions. I form opinions off of what I see as fact.
Exactly. That's how I work my TikTok page. I wouldn't say I only care about facts, but facts over opinions, you know? It's like if it goes to show that said thing is true and somebody says otherwise, I'll respect their opinion, don't get me wrong. But if the facts show that what I'm saying is correct and the other person is wrong, you can't really argue that, so to speak, you know?
It's ADHD.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
I think you've said that before that you've been diagnosed with
Yeah, no, I've been
ADHD.
diagnosed with it.
I have as well, right?
So fun.
Our brains work that way though. Like we constantly have to stimulate our brain, and that's what ADHD is. ADHD basically in all of things, it means that we feel physical pain when we're bored.
Oh yeah, no, I have
Like
to keep moving.
like a headache.
I
Like a
have to.
headache or something.
Yeah, no,
Like
no.
when you're bored, if you're bored or something, quite frankly, like you watch these like films and whatnot and watch people being strapped down as a punishment for like a long ass time or something,
Mhm.
you thinking about that with ADHD, I would rather die.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're very much so. I'm like, I don't know. And I hate it. I hate it when people tell me it's like, "Hey, you need to stop fidgeting." It's like I literally cannot help
I
this. I
can't.
am in
can't.
pain. I'm in pain from being bored. Like this is
I
just
need I need to feed my brain stimulation.
exactly because if I don't move and I stay still, I don't know what'll happen, but I just can't handle that.
There's a lot of issues with ADHD like that because it's a very common cause for like things like depression
Mhm.
or like addictions, like unhealthy addictions. Because if you're not getting enough stimulation, depression is an extremely big, extremely
Like super
threatening
big.
thing for us. It's very likely.
Very, very likely. Yeah, no, the possibilities are endless, and I mean that in a bad
And
way.
addiction, especially when something stimulates us,
Yeah, no,
it's
addiction
loving
will
it.
get you. I feel like that goes with anybody though, ADHD or not. If you find something stimulating, you're gonna go for it. But yeah,
Oh,
no,
absolutely. But ADHD like solidifies
it,
that with
it
like
amplifies the crap out of it.
oh yeah. Which I'm glad I haven't done anything unhealthy for my addictions. Like
Mhm.
I just like working. I like working out and watching movies.
I mean, yeah, no, working out is a good thing to do whenever you're like stimulated or whatnot. But
It's a
mine,
very healthy addiction.
yeah, no, it is. And then I like me, I when I was younger, I wouldn't eat a lot and I was skinny and whatnot. And this was like the early days of my ADHD. This is when like things got like the worst. Now,
Do
granted,
you
over the
take
years,
medication for it?
oh, I had to, yeah, like
Yeah, medication really destroys your appetite.
yeah, no, and it makes you a whole different person. And that's scary. And now that I
And
look
oh,
back
I
on it,
remember coming off mine, and I was a totally different person. But I love the new person I was without the medication.
yeah, when I was without the medication, I felt like myself. I was a mindless robot with my medication. I did not. I basically didn't feel feeling. That's basically
And
it.
the funny thing too is when we were like me and my mom were talking about getting off of it, I was scared.
I was actually more than happy to get off that thing. I was like, I hate this thing. Please get
Well,
me
I
off of
didn't.
it.
I when I was on my medication, I was extremely quiet and did not have any social. But I felt
Same.
like it would make me social, and people would find me weird or something.
Oh no, same. I thought the exact same thing. I thought the exact same thing. That's why I didn't have very many friends in high school.
Mine was more so middle school. I was very to myself, and then I got off the medication, and then I became a big popular person in high school. And honestly, it's not even worth it.
I mean, middle school for me, I was bullied a lot. I was like 4'11". I was a small looking guy. And with ADHD and everything, I thought the world was against me. It wasn't until like junior year of high school, or no, senior year of high school, I'm like, you know what? This is all just bull. I hate this.
Year for you, because it's a lot different.
Mine's 12th grade. 12th grade is senior year for us.
Right, yeah, same. Yeah, it's the same here.
Oh, it's the same there? Okay.
Basically, it's middle school is grade 8 and 9, and then you have high school, which is 10, 11, and 12.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, we went on a tangent again.
It's all good, it's all good.
Alright, so let's get on with the... Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. I have to go take care of something. Just give me a second, okay?
Alright, no problem.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry, that took longer than I wanted it to. Alright, see here? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, you're back. Okay, I was wondering if you left. Alright, where did I leave off?
I just went outside. It's beautiful out.
Oh, nice. Mine's like, it's like 80 something here. It's always hot.
Yeah, it's not quite that warm here. Like 20 degrees Celsius.
I guess I don't know anything about Celsius. I didn't pay attention during school.
I'm not good at translating Fahrenheit. All I know is 100 Fahrenheit is what, 40 degrees Celsius, something like that.
I did not know that, but that's one more thing I knew about today, or learned at least.
And minus 40 is the same in both, so that's one of them.
Well, now I know that. All right, so once I forgot to mention something about the last one. During his 7th form, he will adapt to the harshest environments in space, so like black holes, supernovas, all of that, which is insane. Godzilla. Yeah, that's Heisei level right there. Then enters his eighth stage. Eighth stage.
Right.
Transcends the laws of physics, becoming immortal. What was that? Truly a god incarnate.
Fun. That's fun.
That's very fun. Who would have thought, right?
Jeez. I want to know what they were thinking.
I know, it's like,
They're like,
let's just make him literally insanely strong for no reason whatsoever. How about that? That sounds fun.
let's take his character and like God.
Yeah, let's just God. And then there's
Let's put him in creative mode, guys.
let's put him in creative mode. Let's see how far he goes. It says the nuclear fission inside Godzilla acts as the core for the next Big Bang, as Godzilla's always expanding body starts wait, hold on. As Godzilla oh my god, what does that say? It keeps expanding and makes stars and many types of elements begin to form. Godzilla will keep expanding little by little until a universe is created, making it stronger as time goes on, making Godzilla himself stronger as time goes on. Imagine, though, that amount of nuclear power creating a freaking universe.
Jeez. And the only thing stopping this from being on, well, from the sounds of it, the only thing stopping this from being on screen was budget.
Yeah, no, that's it. But then you got to also look at it in terms of storyline. How do you storyline that?
I don't know. Honestly, I felt like it would have been so confusing. I kind of prefer the movie how it is.
Yeah, no, it's fairly good. It was very, very good. If they did go in that direction, how would they do it?
I don't know. It's I don't know. You never know. It's Japan. You know how you obviously know how creative those guys are.
Exactly. And it's like you got to think to yourself, like,
I mean, sometimes
how
they're not that creative, but have you ever seen the Ultraman villain Jiras?
Oh, yeah.
It's a Godzilla suit with a frill on it.
Oh my. I mean, they have their moments. Same with America. We have our moments too. Not the best,
Yeah.
but you know, it's still there. And it's like,
I mean,
oh my god, dude. It just
being in Canada, we have our moments too, but I'm not going to get into it. That is an argument for another day.
And believe it or not, oh no, that's yeah, believe it or not, Godzilla would in fact have an expiration date. Same thing with our universe. You know how eventually the universe is gonna like break out and whatnot. We're just gonna like everything's gonna get brighter and then go slowly into oblivion or into the void. The radioactive core.
Obviously everything must come to an end.
Oh yeah. Same thing with Godzilla. And it's like the radioactive core would go on to decay, and the universe created would begin to freeze, and nothing interesting would happen again. Everything would cease to exist. The being that once was Godzilla would be an empty void, devoid of life.
Fun.
It's so child friendly, just so nice.
Child friendly.
And you have
That's so dark.
it's like you have to think about it. It's like, you know, what we perceive as God. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a firm believer in God. I am a Christian. But the things that we perceive as gods or God could in fact be a being that was exactly what I just described. It could be what's happening right now. Life could have been created in said being that created the Big Bang. Now,
And that's the thing. Like nothing is confirmed.
you can't
We don't
confirm
know.
it. Like, it's so weird. It's so...
Sorry if you can hear my dogs there.
It's fine. My dogs are like that too. It's fine. It's okay.
It's just the old one. He's like senile.
Senile.
He's 17, okay?
But it makes sense though. That makes sense. But like, you just gotta think about that. Like, creating a universe off of one being that literally just ate some radioactive waste and created a universe. That
Right?
is
It was so confusing. Like, and the creature apparently before was like between the size of a mouse and a salmon.
yeah. And
In that realm.
how do you go from that to that? And no, granted, this wouldn't happen like overnight. This would take billions upon billions of years, but it would still happen. Like, he would create life, and life would exist within him.
That would have been too hard to even make.
Yeah, no, to explain. Like, way too hard to explain.
Even if they added things like the slithering and whatnot, like they could implement that fine.
Slithering through space, just checking up on everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, so, and it also said, do you have anything on your list that you want to talk about before I continue?
There's nothing about the forms that were
Oh.
inside of the movie that I have listed.
Oh, okay. All right then. I'll finish this last part, and then we can talk about the questions and whatnot, and like just the to fathom the entire thing if we can. All right. So it says the reasons we didn't see this in the film, like I said, because of budgeting. It was ridiculously high, and with the power Godzilla had, the story would have the story wouldn't have been there. The concept merely created to theorize the possible future in terms of Godzilla and what he could have had. It was likely planned that this was never meant to be a part of the film. There's a huge rumor, the same thing I mentioned before, the huge rumor going around that something was mistranslated and this is all a myth. So for now, you can't confirm that it is real. So that is that.
So yeah, even if it was confirmed to be a thought, it's still not fair to put it in like a versus battle or whatnot.
Exactly. Until it is fully integrated into a movie or comic, which I think they could do a comic. That would be interesting. If they could do a comic, I'm not gonna lie, that would be interesting. And then Shin could obviously be like, yeah, we got him at Universal Plus, maybe even higher.
Well, no, if you are the universe at that point,
you're higher than Universal.
Yeah, you're above universe at that point. If you literally have the universe inside of you.
Yeah.
As your organs, basically, you are
the universe. You can create and destroy anything.
Like, honestly, you could even argue like points of universal or maybe a stretch, but boundless at some points. But
that's true. That is very true. You could argue boundless.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It's just something to think, to like ponder on. Like, what if this actually happened?
Right. And not to mention, it would be kind of a confusing thing because it's already hard enough to like explain to people who aren't Godzilla fans like the existence of comic Godzilla or
right. Yeah.
It's hard enough to explain, like even Monster Strike. That one I hate explaining.
That's people, too overpowered, bro. You can't explain that.
But like, if the Shin Godzilla came to a thing, that would be just ugh. So yeah, he's basically a celestial being that is in charge of the entire universe and created one in his own image. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's like, huh?
Because somebody who isn't a Godzilla fan, what they see is a giant radioactive lizard, and that's the overall concept, right?
Yeah, that's basically it.
And then to like tell someone, oh yeah, in this one he's a giant universal god. It's like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he can create and destroy anything at will. And it's like, hold on, what?
It's like baby steps to that point, and there are no steps between that. Like, even there's not even like really steps between like what's happening in the Marvel and comic and whatnot compared to even Earth Godzilla. Like, there's a complete massive difference there. Even the jump of Earth Godzilla. Actually, I don't know. I think there's some feats that Heisei have that actually do come damn close to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's debatable. It's debatable.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
what's Heisei's durability feat? Isn't it like scaled to something like solar system or more?
Yeah, no, it's scaled to solar system. Same with the power output. I read that his power output alone is like multi-solar system level or something like that. Supernova level.
It is for the fact. The reason why it's solar system is because Space Godzilla survived being wedged between a black and white hole while surviving multiple supernovas, right?
Yeah, and the Heisei version is
fine, but the red spiral ray, a couple of those took him out.
Yeah, and plus the burning mode. That's another thing. It's like the burning mode didn't take Space Godzilla out. It took out Destroya, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But
that wasn't even the thing that killed Destroya. Destroya's main death was because of cold.
Yeah, he can't. He's like, he goes to Antarctica. I'm dying. See ya. Bye. Yeah. He just completely dies.
That was his main weakness.
That just mainly is like, I know how to beat him. A human beats Destroyer by taking him to Antarctica. I win.
Destroy. That's such a horrible thing to explain about Destroy, because it is true. The humans technically took him out, even though how powerful Destroy is, it's stupid. But
It's super stupid. Like if you were to bring him out into space, dead. The vacuum
Yeah,
of space,
exactly.
you just die. You can't do anything.
It's just the cold.
And plus, he's made of an oxygen destroyer, which destroys the oxygen particles. But out in space, you don't need you have like oxygen doesn't exist out there, so like it conflicts with itself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so weird. It's so weird. All right. Anyways, that's all I have.
Right. Any questions in your comments that we should answer?
They said, hold on, let me read. Someone asked, what should I name my leopard gecko? Call him. What should he call his leopard gecko?
I had a leopard gecko that passed away not too long ago.
Oh, sad.
Should name him Taco.
Name him Taco. If you're still here, name him Taco. And it actually said that his fourth form, the roar that he used, was actually the 1954 Godzilla roar.
In his third form?
Is fourth. Once he was going into his fourth form.
Oh, yeah.
That one. That was it. And people are saying, plus Shin was supposed to be a broken kaiju that was basically God. You could say that, but it's not confirmed.
It's not a confirmed thing. It's not fair to really say that. When me and Grant do versus battles, it's basically what's existing.
Yeah, what exists is what's going to be put in a versus battle. You can't use it off potential. That's not how things work.
Yeah, as I've said many times, I'm not a what if person. I'm a
this is what it is kind of person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's about it. That's about it.
I have nothing else to add.
Yeah, neither do I. I think we covered almost everything, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. What's your overall take out of 10?
I would give this a 8.5. Reason I say that is mainly because of humans. The execution of Shin Godzilla as a whole, in terms of emotion and how like the unique character, was well done. It was original. Something that a lot of people don't notice the first time, but once you see it again and again, you realize these small details. And the cinematography was good. The CGI was good, especially for it being almost a first time for them, considering they'd used suits before. So yeah, I'd give it like an 8.5.
Yeah, no, mine was 8.7, and the thing that really carried this movie for me was the metaphor. Like just the overall amount of metaphors they put into this. Like from his skin being based on radiation burns, his
the music,
fire bombing from the fire, like the fire that he did. Like overall everything just capitalizes the horrors of nuclear destruction, and that hits me in a sweet spot.
It hits you so hard, and like I said, you don't realize that the first time around, but once you look into it, all. That's when you realize it means more. It's got more of a meaning to it.
And Shin Godzilla, that's one thing. Shin Godzilla as a movie, I will actually always like more than like. For a Godzilla movie, I actually like it more than any of the legendary movies. Like, I don't know, there's a thing to it. I actually put 2014 as a perfect area for me because it's very well balanced.
Yeah, I can agree.
The human action, like it's still moving, but how big of an impact Godzilla had in that movie. But the overall metaphors were never ever even close in any other movie compared to Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The 2014, I know we're supposed to be talking about Shin, but they had a perfect balance between human interaction, which was good. Like, they actually had a storyline that they built up with the humans. You actually felt for them. Something that the next few movies couldn't really do. I mean, the King of the Monsters was somewhat like that, but, you know.
Well, you never felt this, like, the overall amount of danger that these humans were in 2014 than compared to any other movie. Like obviously there was people in the Hong Kong fight in Godzilla vs. Kong, and obviously in the what do you call it?
The
boat scene.
The boat scene. Yeah.
Every character that you're really scared for was literally not a main character. Like even in the boat scene, the main characters had a fear of almost drowning, but it was very
Short-lived.
untouched.
Yeah, it was
Very
short-lived.
untouched.
Very much so. Yeah, no, I completely get that. Like, I didn't feel anything for them because it's like I knew that they were gonna survive. You kind of need them for later on, so it's like, okay, yeah, no one's gonna die here. But then like they kill off the evil ones, but like I don't know, the person who was playing the evil one was hot, so I mean, I kind of felt bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it. Direct.
She cute.
she kind of cute. It is what it is.
But like compared to 2014, like the suspenseful scene of them on the bridge laying down while the Mutos like
Looking up at them.
Looking up at them. Oof.
That's scary. Yeah, I know.
Done well.
Super. Or like the part where he's on the boat and he has the nuke, and then you see the female Muto and it has that pan out shot, and just her looking down at him, and he pulls out the gun like last stand kind of thing.
Yeah, the amount of the sense of scale in 2014 was amazing. There was actually some really awesome sense of scale shots in Shin Godzilla too.
Yeah.
Like shots from the street where you see his massive tail.
Yeah, no. I feel like the cinematography in this one was better than 2014. Just my opinion. I feel like it was.
That's fair. 2014 had excellent cinematography though.
Especially the Halo dive jump. Perfect.
The Halo dive jump was awesome. My biggest thing with 2014 that I love about it was the sense of scale, like being on the bridge and seeing Godzilla just tower over you. Like the sense of scale was really put into a human's perspective, and I loved that about the movie.
Yeah, because it's like they hadn't seen it before, so it's like, oh.
Actually, do you know why Godzilla felt so huge in 2014?
Why?
A lot of the shots, actually, he wasn't... Have you also noticed in 2014 that one scene where he was literally the same size as the aircraft carrier and now he's standing on them?
I think so. I believe
Originally, Legendary Godzilla was actually supposed to be 600 plus feet.
What? Hold on, 600.
That, and they CGI'd a couple scenes into that, but then they realized that's too far.
Too freaking tall.
And then like they make Earth Godzilla, like, oh, okay.
I feel like that'll happen later on. Like maybe, given time, they might actually make them 600, 500 feet tall. It might be a possibility.
You never really know.
If it goes well, then it's a possibility. It is. All right, so
Okay.
Oh wait, sorry, No, I have nothing.
Well, apparently with the burning Godzilla scene, I cannot confirm this. I've just heard people say that he actually supposedly got taller just for like in his burning form, but then went back down when he got out of it.
Imagine turning it on and off and just keep growing and shrinking and just over. It's like Destroyer tries attacking. Psych! I'm going lower. Get back up. Punch. Just keeps going. You can't hit me if you can't see me. I'm too short for you. Yeah, it's like Ant-Man. Stop there! Stop it! Oh, that'd be funny if that actually happened. But yeah, no, this has been very informative.
Yeah. So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap, baby. Which one should we do next? Do we want to let them know which one we want to do next?
We could do the original King Kong versus Godzilla, but that's a hard one to get hold of.
Yeah, that is true. You can't just find it anywhere on the internet unless you want viruses on your computer.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm lucky enough to have it on disc. But I mean, I'd lend it to you, but like
the distance is pretty far. Yeah,
Texas and British Columbia aren't very close.
Yeah, no, not really. I was thinking we could do I don't know if we want to go in order or anything, but maybe we could discuss it with each other and then we can figure it out. We can figure it out.
Like obviously you have me on Instagram and whatnot.
Yeah, we could talk to each other. So yeah, that was Shin Godzilla. A lot that we touched on today. Very informative, and I'm pretty sure I got my point across about the fifth or eighth forms not existing. I hope to everything holy I got my point across.
Well, now you have a second opinion. They don't exist.
Yeah, no, they don't exist.
They don't exist. That's the second opinion.
The second opinion
for me now.
Exactly. Yeah, second opinion. They don't exist. So yeah. Thank you all for joining the podcast. Big Boy Bowie, thank you for joining yet again. And we will be talking to you in the next podcast. We will let y'all know what we do. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.